presidential election that took place, and I want to give some important information about the candidate and the president-elect, Comrade Chris Anu. Today, I want to let some of you know who he is, because it's someone that I've seen work with, have dealt with, have been within the communication department, and I can tell you that he's someone that I'll tell you much about him, and you know his plans, his promises for Ambazonia, as he has been elected today President of the United Republic of Ambazonia. So stay put and let's see. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that you are now live on ID Mind Media, Radio and Television with your host, Fritz Misodi. Yes, I want to thank the Restoration Council, the Electoral Committee, the Electoral Commission that was in place to make sure that the election moved free, fair, and transparent. And I also want to thank the candidates who had two debates to tell Amazonian people about their promises, their plans for the nation Ambazonia. So today I want to thank you guys for watching. Please, if you are watching on Facebook, you hit your share button. Hit your share button. If you are watching on Twitter, if you are watching on YouTube, stay as committed, because I'll be coming with more content. So if you are watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. If you are watching on Facebook, hit the share button. Share as you watch the show today. So today, while waiting for the president's address to the nation, I want to give some information that I think is pertinent for you people to know who the president-elect is. So today I'll be talking about what he said he's gonna do, and what I think he's gonna do, and I know he's gonna achieve them. Because in any presidential election, people vote what the candidates say they want to do or they plan to do. So all those promises, if the candidate cannot achieve them, that is where they vote them out of office. So that's how democracy works. But I want to elaborate on this, that I know that Comrade Chris, the president-elect, is gonna do, because I know he meant his words and he's gonna do it. So today, he talk of working with the diaspora, and I know he has been working much with the diaspora. He knows how to rally people. He has traveled the world for Ambazonia. He has remember, he was one of those people who went to rescue the Naira 10 in Nigeria. He left America to Nigeria just to make sure that he can rescue them. He plans to rescue Ambazonian. During the campaign, he said some very important thing about helping Ambazonians. Those people Ambazonians who come to America, who need some paperwork for like asylum or whatever, he is there to help them. If you call him, he's gonna help you. That is what we need. A president who cares about Ambazonia, who cares about the country. If you are in Europe or what part of the world that you need some paperwork, some document to support your claim for asylum, he said he's going to help you for that. And that is very important, because I've seen a lot of members of the IG or members of some groups of Ambazonia who do not help their fellow Ambazonians who need papers like immigration papers. That is not good because you are a leader because of that. You need to understand the mindset of leaders. You have to understand that you are there like the father to help other people. So being a leader is not just that name that you are a leader, you are a president, you are a chairman or whatever. You know, you are there to help people to succeed. You are there to help people to cross a bridge. You know where they are coming from, and you know that if they arrive the country where they are, they will need refugee papers, they will need asylum papers. If the president has said that he's going to work hand in glove to help anyone that is in need to have a stay, you know, and that is very important. And I hope that Ambazonia will understand, especially the diaspora, to make sure that they work in this line, and that ties in with his plan to work with the diaspora, not only by helping them, but also by the diaspora trying to seek help from the diaspora who are going to be part of the project to help in the smooth running of his tenure of office. And I think he's someone who is very knowledgeable about how diaspora works. Some people don't know the importance of diaspora. They cling to their little unions, to their little groups, and think that there's Ambazonia. Ambazonia is made up of different groups, different ethnicities, different communities, different countries. They have different associations and organizations across the world. If you go and cling to a little small tiny group and think that that's Ambazonia, you are losing the sight. Secretary Chris and President-elect has promised to do just that. Yes, that is what he promised to do, and I know he's gonna do it. Yeah. When it comes to some other project about road mapping of activities that he wants to do, he said he's gonna do a lot when it comes to leaders not knowing, not having any roadmap of what they plan to do. President-elect has said that he has a roadmap, and that is very important because some people think that when you're elected president, you just sit there, do nothing. You are there just because of titles. Then the few supporters around you and say, "Oh no, Madam President or Mr. President." That is not what they put you there for. You are not there for titles. We don't have a country yet. You are not there because you want to satisfy your individual ego or your individual self-aggrandizement. You are there for a purpose. You are there to make sure that you help solve a problem. The work of a president is to solve problems. It's not to sit there and think that you have earned something when we don't have a country yet. Yeah. We are working towards that. But you thinking that, oh, things are okay. It's not okay. You know. At this point in time, we need a leader who is rigorous. We need someone who can fight for us. You know, if you're a son and you see a father that doesn't fight for you, are you gonna talk much good about the father? No. You want a dad that will there for you, fight for you, be pushful for you. That's what we're talking about. And we want that to happen because it's very different, and we want that to make sure that we see that happen in this regime. And I am very happy because of those issues, and I don't want to talk much about what has happened during the election time or whatever. I want to talk what President-elect planned to do. He promised to do. That is more important than talking about what happened or why the former president Iya Marianta did not go for election, or the transitional government of 6 months. Then later they said, "Oh no, she has a right to ban the Restoration Council." I don't want to talk about that because it's just childish. It's just it's just childish. I don't want to talk about childish stuff because how let me talk a little bit about that. You, Seko Ayuk, was elected by the Restoration Council. The president Sako, former president Sako, was elected by the Restoration Council. Yes, even the other even the Mark Barrettas and they were all elected by that council. Back then they had the it was still a council format. But this one, Seko Ayo, Sako, Iya Marianta, all of them, they were elected by that council. Nothing more, nothing less. So when it comes to each of their turn, when they say okay, Seseko's own was a bit different because he was arrested, and they say okay, now you cannot lead while in jail, right? It's as simple as that. So stay in jail. We can help. We that are outside, we will keep fighting for the liberation. So the few that were, that's what they call Naira 10. Even though to date we don't know what happened, what transpired to the arrest, but what we know is that he left the USA to Nigeria for that meeting. That said, what people don't understand about the Restoration Council is that it is comprised of different groups. You have NCSC, a consortium, different groups within that make up the Restoration Council. Then now they expanded the the council to have members coming from the various LGAs. Then when it comes to election, now this is the first election that they have allowed the LGAs chairman, the LGA chairman and chairladies to vote. So that's how they expand the electorate. The electorate keeps expanding. So don't think that it will be so perfect that it's a building process. It's a building process. You can't think that the council is so perfect that it can organize everything. No, there's a lot of things that is a work in progress, and that is what happened. So most of the time, most of the people think that it's so easy to conduct election. It's so easy to all of these members of the Restoration Council are volunteers, and they're doing that because they want to see the success of everything. But there are some people who are still selfish, who just have ego, who are just more of power hungry, power mongers. They look, when they have been elected, they look at the power as if that's where they have to keep. They just have to stay there. Election is not like that. Election means transition, change. It's very, very dynamic. It's not fixed. So when you are elected in the office, know that you are in a transition period. Okay, don't take it as if that's your home. You have to stay there. Okay, let's forget about that. Uh, I want us to talk about those things that Secretary Chris promised to do. This aspect of unity is very important that he talked about during his campaign, and some of you look at it very, very difficult. But when I walked with him, I saw how he invited people that the government was not. Sako did not allow him to invite certain members of the struggle to the ABC TV. I myself, I had a show there. When I invited some people there, Sako was very angry. They were very angry. Why do you invite these people? Why do you bring these people on the TV? Because it is like you don't want to listen to, you want your enemies to be other people's enemies. How do you do that? The best thing to do for you is to bring people who don't like your opinion. Listen to them. But when you, if people don't want your opinion, or you call them enemies or whatever you call them, then you think that those people must be everybody's enemies. Your enemy should not be my enemy. No, it doesn't work that way. If you have somebody who you don't talk to, then somebody else want to talk to, why do you get angry? You, it's it's about listening to people. That is what Secretary Chris was doing. He invited people like Mark Barretta. He invited people like Tapang Ivo. He invited people like Barrister Tumasa. So many people that we understand they were controversial, but listening to them is to get the other side of the story. Yes, I. That is what unity is all about. And when Secretary Chris promised of uniting all these leaders, people always think that, oh, you want to bring these people here, you want to bring, no, unity of purpose is that kind of unity where you have a project, you say, okay, let's put our heads together and see how this project can move. All the leaders will come together and work out that project. But he mentioned, very important, he mentioned that the IG, which is a majority of what the people support, will not go and compromise for, because they want unity. That is not going to happen. He wants something that is open. You know, you can collaborate in certain aspects. You know, say for example, there is lockdown. You know, and all the leaders can meet and say, okay, let's put this date to this date. So that's as simple as that. It should not be when you say this today, this other person come and say this tomorrow. Do you want to come and say, how do you think that the people are taking this? They're not taking us serious. Very important project. You know, those issue that were mentioned by most of the leaders was about bringing those leaders together, like Sako, you know, APLM, and you know, all those other different leaders. You know, it's very important to know about those achievements that some of the people uh, wanted to do, but let's look at what happened during the campaign. What Secretary Chris promised during the campaign, from what he said and what we know, and it is very critical for us to understand when there is a government and people start resigning in that government. Know that there's an issue. There's an issue. You cannot have a government, then people start resigning. You have one minister resign, two ministers resign, three. There's an issue. It's the same thing that happened to Sako when he claimed to sack Secretary Chris. When Secretary Chris resigned, there was an issue. The next one that resigned, next resign, next. That's a failure. There's an issue. Remember, former President Iya Marianta, former President Iya Marianta was supposed to hold a cabinet meeting, deal with the issues that were at hand, but he never did that. He never did that. So, when you have a problem within the cabinet and you don't have skills, problem solving skills to resolve them, know that there's a problem. I'm saying this because most of the past presidents had a difficulty to resolve problems within the cabinet. That is what made the cabinet to be very, very unproductive. You remember the former advisor to Sako said that in the advisory committee is that committee that helped to advise the president, and you have technical advisors, you have economic advisors, political advisors. There will be about 5 of them in that committee to advise the president. But he said Dr. Sako never consulted any one of them for any advice. So why do you appoint people that you don't use? It's the same thing with Iya Marianta. Most of the advisory members left her cabinet. They were functionless, doing nothing. So I'm bringing up this because that is what Secretary Chris promised to do. He wants to use every cabinet member that he will appoint. Don't appoint people that you don't use. It doesn't make sense. You appoint somebody and keep there. They're doing nothing. Just have cabinet names, numbers. When you don't use them, it doesn't make sense. I don't see why you have people who you don't use, then you keep them there, right? But look at the problem itself. Why do you think there was a problem? The same cabinet problem that happened in Sako is the same cabinet problem that happened in Iya Marianta's short 6 months. Because if you look at how many resignations happened within the shortest time, about 5 cabinet members resigned. Out of those 5 that resigned, there were other members like Secretary Chris, who, when I started running for president, there were other Secretary of State who had already, lose faith of everything. Yes, but let's talk about what a transitional government is. People were very skeptical that, why did they give Iya Marianta only 6 months? She had to stay there for 2 years. No. You saw when she swore oath of office. That is very important. Sako did the same. Sako did the same. When you swear the Bible, do so swear. I do so swear. So help me God. I will stay in this place for 6 months. After 6 months, there will be an election. That is it. The powers were given to you for 6 months. After 6 months, there will be an election. It's a transitional government. That's why they put it transitional. This one is an interim government, so it's different from transitional. Those names are there for a purpose. They are not government, right? They are either transitional or interim government. But when you go there, you don't want to, that is the problem. You start now, say you have dissolved certain people, you have dismissed certain people, dismissed that. But what makes a crisis, political crisis or executive crisis, is the fact that you you use what we call dismissal or your own powers to dismiss people without cause. So it is very, very crucial. When you dismiss people without why you dismiss them, there's a problem. President Iya Marianta dismissed most of the cabinet members without replacing them. How do you dismiss people? Then they don't even know why they were dismissed. Most of them were dismissed because they were campaigning against her in terms of campaign period. That was a campaign period. It's not about that, you know, not everybody must support you despite working in your government. It doesn't work like that. This is not about CPDM or SDF, mm, where you keep one president there for almost how many years. We don't want that kind of leadership. That is why I will be part of any democratic process. Any democratic process that's happening in Ambazonia, I will be part of, to make sure that we see democracy working in Ambazonia. I know most of people don't like elections. I've heard them crying. Why elections? Forget about elections. Don't conduct elections. Leave Sako there for 10 years. Leave Iya Marianta there. Don't leave them there. Don't conduct election. I've never seen a country that does not conduct election. How many countries in the world? Britain, they just changed the prime minister. For the past 5 years, how many prime ministers have led Britain? About 4 prime ministers. Yes. Why? Because they are not productive. You cannot keep somebody there because you love the person. This thing is not about love, it's about productivity. It's about productivity. If somebody is not productive, why do you leave the person there? Why do you leave the person there? But talking about transition, President Iya Marianta, former president, was put there for a transition period. And if this election is not working smoothly, the blame should go back to her, because she was put there to help. She was there to help for transition. For goodness sake. I mean, I don't understand how these people think. When you were put there, you accepted to rule for 6 months to help for smooth transition. But you come there now and say you want to run for office. The regime can say, okay, mommy, you can run for office, but let's make sure that this thing be a smooth transition. She came there now. She started complaining. Oh, election modalities. This one is not good. Oh, we have to fix this one. This one is not good. What? They gave them these election modalities for almost six weeks ago. They went through all those election modalities before the election. If you can say the election modality, that's what they said. President Iya Marianta and the Vice President Abongwa said that the election modality was 95% very good. So the little 5% that you said about Secretary Chris, about him have a court case, was it relevant? If Secretary Chris has a court case, President-elect, that Sako sued him with other members of government, wasn't that enough reason for you to say, no, this man is fit to be a president? Why should that be the reason for you to reject that man? When you know that person is fight for you. Secretary Chris has been there for the past 6 months to fight for you and you alone. But you now say that he is not fit to be president because he has a court case. It's not a civil case. It's not any other case. It's a case of, it's a political case, a case that you know. So, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because there's a lot of things that happen, and it's very very important. You know, why do you think Sako was impeached? Why do you think Sako was impeached? And why do you think President Iya Marianta could be impeached? But even though he's no more the president, she's no more the president, so she missed that one because had it been she continued this when if she was still the president, she would have faced the Restoration Council's impeachment. She's just been lucky because her term of office finished yesterday, the 5th. So today is the seat, and we're seeing a new president, a new administration, and new something. So I'm just grateful that Secretary Chris has taken the baton of power. Excuse me. So, how many countries do you think has an election commission? No, let's be serious. The Restoration Council created for the first time. They had 2 debates. They created the Electoral Commission in charge of the election. It means that the Restoration Council removed their hand. They were not part of organizing election. They created that council, that commission in charge of election. What kind of transparency do you want from Restoration Council again? The members of the ECA are not members of the Restoration Council, so you have to be clear. You have to be clear with that. I left the ECA. I was a member of the ECA, but since we had that discrepancy between me being part of it, and I was contacted by Secretary Chris to join his campaign. But that is what campaign is all about, and that is what electoral process is all about. Transparency, those kind of system that works better, and it's very important for most of us to understand certain modalities of the election, and I want to say this point, which is very important. Secretary Chris promised to surround himself with experts, people who matters, people who know their job. I realized this with many of the former presidents. They were very, very inconsistent. They were very, very inconvenient. They were very, very insecure when it comes to working with people they think they are very afraid of. Is that not complex? That is security complex. That is inferiority complex, where you are afraid of certain people, to work with certain people because you think that they can come and take your position, and you tend to paint them black, or you don't want just to collaborate with them, you don't want to do anything with them. But that is what has been killing this struggle, because you cannot have a cabinet member who knows nothing about foreign affairs. You put him as a Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, he knows nothing. You put somebody who is in charge of economy and finance, somebody who has not even held more than 1 million CFA franc, you put him in charge of finance. You carry someone who knows nothing about resource and mobilization. He has never called one person on the phone to solicit for funds. You put him in charge of resource and mobilization. You take somebody who does not even own or is not even having a bar. He's not even a member of the bar association, or is not even a member of a common law, has not know nothing about that. You put him in charge of judiciary and advisory commission. Mm. You take someone who has no credentials in terms of position of like humanitarian, social, and women's affairs, and put her there for social affairs and whether just put people who are not competent. They are not competent, and you expect them to be productive. You cannot put somebody in a place that he is not an expert in. Then you expect him to be productive in that place. You are just wasting time like La Republic. You saw how La Republic is appointing ministers. There was one in that country called La Republic called that minister of sports. What was that name again? Bidumpat. Bidumpat know nothing about sports. Nothing. That guy was dull. He was the dullest man I've ever seen. Dullest minister that I was appointed in that country. They put him minister of sport. All along those years, Cameroon was flopping in all the sports. I was a minister of sports. Knows nothing about sports. He has never even played anything, any sports in his life, or attended any school of sports, so to say. But you see, look at countries like France. The minister of sport will be always people who have played soccer, or they love. It's a passion for them. It's a passion. In La Republic, they will carry people, somebody who has no competence in a field, and put minister of what is that, minister of forestry, or what they put minister of agriculture, or somebody who has not even planted one seed. They put minister of agriculture. No idea of any research that can help growth in that domain. Yes, I remember the minister that brought what they call back in the days agro this thing was a minister that had that expertise in agriculture. He was a minister of agriculture then. He brought this agro pastoral show where they have, you see, kind different types of food being grown within that domain. You saw the type of you know, it was very important to understand about those issues. But if you don't put experts in those places, if you don't put experts in places that they can perform well, that is where there's a problem. But those are the various issues that we see. This important aspect of that Secretary Chris promise, I hope Ambazonians will really be very happy if this thing can go to fruition. The aspect of Ambazonian passport. He mentioned that he wants to make a passport, and there will be an immigration office in charge of that. Because most Southern Cameroonian Ambazonians have difficulties to establish a passport. Yes, because when you go there, they'll say, "Oh, you are an Ambazonian." Yes, but give him a passport for now. They don't want to give passport. He said he's going to create an immigration office that is going to be in charge of that. That is what we did not see in the past government. When people don't have plans, they don't have promises that they can keep. They don't have any agenda. They start to focus on different things that does not even matter, right? Okay. See this, make giving a passport will facilitate movement for Ambazonians across the world. You don't need to, then making one of these countries like an embassy, Ambazonian embassy can be there for helping us to facilitate our people to travel to. You know, if you have this passport, you say it's visa free in this country. You can go to that country and you can stay there for 3 months, and that's visa free. But how many people have had this plan in the past administration? None of them. None of them. You know, that is what we're talking about. But I just want to make this because it's very important, so that we work on those aspects that you know. If you talk about working with others, diplomacy came into the limelight a lot, because we have seen that diplomacy does not work in most of the government. That Sako did nothing on diplomacy. Sako did nothing on diplomacy. President Iya Marianta had 6 months, so we did not expect her to do anything. So those are the issues that we face. Yes, and it's very important when you talk about having uh, those uh, diplomatic ties, and you know it's very important, because if you don't have some countries that support you, some countries that can financially sponsor you, some countries that are ready to see you succeed, then it's very difficult to win diplomatic relationship. So I am just hoping that most of the promises that came from Secretary Chris uh, will work out very well, and and what we see here is the type of lesson we have learned in the regime of the past governments, where there's that lack of any project, lack of roadmap, you know, uh, the the terms of offices, they don't respect them. They want to pass them and you know do a lot of things that are uncalled for in terms of diplomacy, the fundraising, the other areas where we have been lacking, you know. But all in all, I want to say this: a leader is born, a leader is not created. A leader is born, is not created. When you see Secretary Chris, former Secretary Chris, and President-elect, you will know he is a leader. There is no, you can't be forcing yourself to be a leader when you are not a leader. Leadership is not about trying to force yourself to be leaders when you don't know what it takes to be a leader. You know, leaders are people who are born to be leaders. Yes, that is why uh, most of the time I look at him. I say, no, this guy. At one time, I even told him to even run for office. Yes, I told him. I told him to run for office, and he accepted. But his issue was just that aspect of the aspect of saying he doesn't want, and you know. But then some people say, no, it's good to be the what they say, he's good to be the leader for the the vice, or he can be the secretary for communication. He's good at that. But I tell him, what? Do you mean that someone who is a communication person is not a good, cannot be a good president? I said, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? I said, no, no, nobody said that. I said, you said that because I expected you to say, oh, he's doing a good job. Yeah, he can do a good job too, you know. But it wasn't the same. All right. I'm gonna end here because I will be having some meetings. But I want to thank you for watching, and I want to say today has been a wonderful day, and we hope that we'll come with more of the promises from the president-elect. We have a lot of things about him to tell you people how he has been struggling and all those things.